Changing the access requirements on an airlock can be very confusing, and this is often something that I see people either just not know they can do, or the question pops up pretty often. I have an older video on this, but it is out of date, so let's make an updated guide. The primary and easiest way to change an access on any door or locker or anything that's locked in general is with an access configurator. The access configurator spawns with the CE and the hop, so there are two of them. The CE is the more practical person to change a lot of these things because they'll often be the ones deconstructing and constructing things. However, the hop can change things like lockers and secure closets very easily. The way it works is you put your ID inside the access configurator, and if you left click any single locked object, you can change the access on it. However, if it is an airlock or a locked device you do not have access to, you will not be able to change anything on it, and it'll tell you what access your ID is missing. But if it is a door that you have access to, you can either remove all the accesses from it or add additional ones. And of course, if it's a door with no access, you can just add any access your card has access to. So for example, I actually took the access off this engineering door. Now it's an all access door. That is the easiest way of changing things. And just for example, this is an atmospheric tech locker. I can make this like a 7-way locked locker, 1-way or no way locked locker. It is up to you. When you're going to make certain objects, like a secure closet out of the construction menu, there is no other way to change the access of this other than having the CE or hop do it for you. There's no door electronics tied to this, so this is technically always going to be an all-access locker. However, again, if you know somebody like the CE or the hop, they can make these lockers locked like any other locker. So they could be used as a replacement for a locker that got destroyed, or just to keep like personal belongings. I have seen people use this as a way to set up their own like private stashes, especially if they have like stolen access. Overall though, this isn't a mechanic used too much. And one final note for the access configurator before we move on, it can only set access to what is normally found on a station, so all the normal station jobs. However, if you actually take apart an airlock, you will have many more options. Where having the access configurator is really helpful as well, other than just changing access, is fixing broken access. So let me put engineering back on this door. Say somebody breaks in with the authentication disruptor. Not only does it bolt the door open, it will rip the access off. So let me just unbolt this door to be able to close it. We'll see that with no ID, this is all access again. But the access configurator lets you fix this basically instantly. So now it's back to being an engineering door, just like that. However, if you are building a new door, or just don't have access to the access configurator, airlocks and doors in general can still have their access changed. Secure lockers and stuff, you're out of luck, you need an access configurator. But if you're making like a private room or maybe something devious, we could just deconstruct the airlock and go from there. To deconstruct an airlock, you first have to open the maintenance panel with a screwdriver, use a multi-tool, figure out which of the lights is a bolt, snip every wire except bolt. Of course, I didn't actually check which one was bolt. There we go. This is a hacking tutorial. So snip the bolt last, like so. Now everything's snipped, and then you must weld the door. And all we have to do now is crowbar it. If it is a glass airlock, you have to crowbar it twice. But once you crowbar this, you're actually going to rip the electronics out and it will be an open airlock assembly. So here at Door Electronics, you can either use a multi-tool or a network configurator. When you use it on this, you'll actually have every single like access pretty much in the game. I think this is every access. So you can even see things like Xenoborgs are upcoming. You can lock out things like the AI. You can pick Syndicate Agent, Wizard. So to fix a door, or if you're assembling a door, you just go to the construction menu and type in airlock and it'll tell you the instructions. But to fix the door after you rip the door electronics out, you just left click the door and use a screwdriver. And now you have a Syndicate Agent access door. Now, on upstream, really, the only way to get a Syndicate ID is by actually being like a nuclear operative. I'm not even sure if reinforcements get these, I forget. But either way, this isn't a very common card. So essentially, you make this door hackable. So you could use that to essentially make a permanently bolted door because no one would be able to open this normally. And since that's pretty much the end of the video, I'll just show you what the AI actually looks like real quick with this. This is probably unintended. You can't actually open the door normally. However, you could just alt-click and set it to emergency, then open it. So probably an oversight with how access works at the AI. I think they can even like bolt like nuke doors and emergency them too, even though they shouldn't have access to it. Anyways, that's off topic. That's pretty much it about access. It's more simple than it looks. It's kind of a hidden feature in a way though, especially the door electronics being able to change that as anyone that can deconstruct a door. Either way, thank you for watching.